What's up YouTube, Silver Dragons here, and in this video I want to share with you 5 myths surrounding silver. These have to do with silver stacking or silver investing. Now if you're new to precious metals or if you've been buying them for quite a long time, stick around, listen to all 5, and let me know in the comment section, do you agree or disagree with my thoughts surrounding these myths? I'm going to talk about whether I think they're true or absolutely false. So okay, let's do it. Thank you so much for watching my video. I do sincerely appreciate it. Real quick, I want to shout out my Rumble channel. I post all of the same YouTube content over on this other platform called Rumble. This is my backup channel. If anything happens over here on YouTube, I'll still have this other channel. Now, I'll put a link down below in the description if you want to check it out. We're trying to get to over 1,000 followers. We're really close. But okay, let's talk about the 5 silver myths. So the first myth that I've heard is people saying that silver's price can go to 0, that silver could be worthless at some point. And it's funny, this actually could not be farther from the truth. Now, what are they saying when they say silver could go to 0? Well, what they're actually saying is that it would be worth $0. And when you say that, you're making a big mistake, right? Because you're insinuating that dollars are money, but in reality, dollars are just currency. I mean, the world's been around for a long time, and dollars have not existed for the whole time the world has been around. We know this through history. But what has existed? Well, gold and silver have, right? Those are actually real money. They've been used as money for thousands of years. But okay, let's take this one step further. Let's pretend that dollars are money, okay? And that at one point silver could be worth $0. Well, this whole notion is absolutely absurd because silver has to be mined out of the earth. There's costs associated with mining silver, and there's massive demand for silver in different products, you know, electronics, your phone, your computer, solar panels, cars. There's silver in lots of other parts of industry, you know, medicine, the list goes on. But the bottom line is it costs a certain dollar amount to actually mine 1 ounce of silver out of the ground. And right now that's about $14 or $15 to mine an ounce of silver. And so if the demand is always there for silver and the price goes too low, what will happen is the miners will actually either stop mining for silver, or the silver that they do mine, they won't sell it out into the marketplace. They'll just keep it for themselves. And we actually saw this happen back in 2020. And so the bottom line is, if there's no silver going out into the marketplace, but there still is demand, you know, because the price is too low, well, this is going to actually raise the price, right? Lots of demand, low supply, it's going to raise the price. It's going to go back above mining costs, which again is around $14 or $15 an ounce. And so that's kind of like the bottom that silver can really go to. You know, we could see silver price temporarily dip below that number, but eventually in a fairly short period of time, it'd make its way back up to that number and then continue to go up from there. So I think this is a total myth. There's no truth to this, you know, and people say, oh, silver, it's just going to go to 0. Don't buy into that because it's all lies. All right, myth number 2 that I've heard is that the world is running out of silver. And I think this one is absolutely hilarious. I've heard this from people who are promoting silver. They're saying, look, you need to buy it now because there's a limited supply. They've said things like the mines are drying up. You know, this could be your last chance. And, you know, I just think this is utter nonsense. If we look at how much silver was mined this year, we can see it's over 822 million ounces. And this is quite a bit more than was mined back in the year 2000. So they're actually mining more silver today than they were in the past. And as far as mines drying up, you know, there might be 1 or 2 mines that are kind of getting a little bit low on silver. And who cares, right? There's thousands of mines across the earth. There's so much ground that's never been explored. We don't know what's under the ground in most parts of the world. And so when I hear, oh, the mines are drying up, I just think this is ridiculous. I mean, new mines are being explored and drilled every day. They're finding lots of silver under the ground. And so they're mining an incredible amount of it now, but we know there's a lot more silver underground yet to be mined, so don't believe this myth. Okay, myth number 3 has to do with selling your silver if the price of silver goes up. I've heard this several times. Once recently, someone said, if the price of silver goes too high, let's say it goes to $50 an ounce or $100 an ounce, am I going to have any trouble selling my silver? And this one's pretty easy because we can look at what's happened in the past. Just back in 2011, we saw the price of silver go almost up to $50 an ounce. And what was happening at that time? Was it possible for people to sell their silver? Well, actually, it was extremely easy for people to sell their silver because the reason that the price went up so high was because of this spike in demand. Most people were not investing in silver, and then the media started talking about it and pushing it. Wow, look at silver price, it's going so high. It was on the news. We saw all of these shops popping up in the malls everywhere, we buy your gold and silver, whatever. And so people were starting to think, maybe I should get into silver. And a lot of people did. They bought in when the price was really high. But the bottom line is anyone who wanted to offload their silver at that time would have had no problem at all because there was so much demand. You could walk into any coin shop and say, hey, I want to sell my silver. They'll buy it from you immediately because they know they can sell it in 2 minutes to the next guy, right? There's probably a line of people out the store waiting to buy silver. So yes, if the price of silver does go up, you will have no problem selling your silver that you already have now. So this is a total myth when people say you won't be able to sell when the price goes up. All right, now let's get to myth number 4. I've heard people say that you cannot make money off of silver. In fact, I think even Dave Ramsey says this. He says, don't buy silver. It's just a rock. It's going to sit there. You can never make any money off of it. And people will sometimes follow that up and say, silver is only good for saving your money. Because even if the price of silver goes up over time with inflation and things like that, well, it's maybe a hedge against inflation. People aren't really saying that right now, but this is something that's been said for decades. Silver and gold are a hedge against inflation. But the thing is, silver, yes, it is a great savings account. It's very wonderful to convert your US dollars into real money because, whatever happens to the dollar, who cares? It doesn't matter. My wealth is stored in a safe place. I've got silver. I'm outside of that system. There's no counterparty risk. There's all these good things about buying silver. But the myth is that you cannot make money off of your silver. And this is also untrue. Because we have seen silver price spike up very high, very fast in the past. We go back to 2011. We saw the price of silver go up so fast. The notion that you cannot make any money off of your silver is ridiculous. Because again, when demand is there, when we're at the tail end of a bull run, we see that mania phase where everyone piles in. They think it's going to go to $1,000 an ounce or whatever. And if you do sell at that point in time, absolutely you can make money off your silver. So if you buy silver and then want to sell it in a week or in a month, can you make money off of it? Maybe, but probably not. You really need to hold on to it for longer than that. Silver is a long-term wealth storage vehicle. When I buy silver, I don't plan on selling it anytime soon. So can you make money off your silver? Absolutely you can. But if that's your primary reason for stacking, I would say you're doing it wrong because it's more about savings. It is more about wealth preservation. So I guess this one is maybe sort of a half-truth. It depends on, the time frame and stuff like that. But overall, I would say it is false because I know you can make money off your silver. All right, let's get to the 5th and final myth surrounding silver. And I've heard this one many times over the years, but it's when people say that silver will just be used as an industrial metal in the future, that it's going to lose its precious metal status and only be used for industry. Now, I can kind of see why they would say this, so I'll talk about it from their point of view, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it. So when they look at silver, they see most of it already goes to industry, so this isn't that far of a stretch. Some of it goes to bullion and investment, but most of it just goes to make things. And when we look at the hierarchy of precious metals, silver is kind of the lowest one on the list, right? As far as rarity, we got silver, then we got gold, then we got the platinum group metals, right? There's platinum, palladium, rhodium. There's other ones, but that's sort of the general list there. And silver's at the bottom. And, what's the definition of precious? I mean, we're talking about definitions here, base metal, precious metal, but what does precious even mean? Well, if we look it up, it is an object, substance, or resource of great value, not to be wasted or treated carelessly. And when we think about silver being used in products, what happens to your old cell phone when it breaks? You just simply throw it away. Maybe you recycle it or something like that, but the silver that's in it is not going to be recovered. It's these tiny little wires. No one's, cutting it open and taking the silver out and keeping it. So a lot of the silver that's out there is already being wasted and treated carelessly. So it seems like it's not that precious, right? Now, this is their point of view. And maybe they don't really understand how rare silver is. So let's just compare silver to copper, right? They say silver is going to be base metal like copper, zinc, lead, these other ones. Well, how much copper is actually mined every year? It's about 18 million tons. In fact, this year we've already mined over 18 million tons. And I did the math. This is about 600 billion ounces of copper mined this year alone. 600 billion with a B. And we haven't even mined 1 billion ounces of silver. So just think about that for rarity. If we look at silver compared to copper, the difference there about 600. Silver compared to gold, the difference there about 8. Right, so silver definitely fits a lot more in the precious metals category. And, for me, when I look at it, it's not even close. Silver has been used as a monetary metal for thousands and thousands of years. When we talk about precious metals, what do we talk about? Silver and gold. They're intertwined. So I don't think it's ever going to lose its precious metal status. I think people are always going to be buying it for investment. Buying silver bullion. There's always going to be a demand for silver bullion out there. So when people say, it's just going to be an industrial metal in the future, I think that is absolutely false, completely untrue. So, okay, those were my 5 myths that I wanted to talk about in this video. Feel free to leave your comments regarding those down below in the comment section. I want to say a massive thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next one. Silver Dragons out.